Hello everyone, and welcome to Bob's Garden. This is part of our continuing series on uncommon plants for common households. I'm going to talk about Tillandsias. Tillandsias are a very diverse group of plants that live in a wide range of environments. They can live in the desert, they can live in rainforests, they're found in subtropical rainforests, and this is a really very adaptable plant. They live in the air. There's no roots at all. And they set flower, they can set seed, and those seeds will drift. And they cling to various structures, to rock. They've even been found in telephone wires. So that should give you a clue that they're very adaptable plants. And for some of our younger viewers there, this is an ideal starter plant. And I'm going to walk you through how to take care of this. There's very adaptable to all kinds of decorations. This is what I love about these plants. They're very adaptable for decorating, and this is part of my collection. Yes, I have more. It's like kind of like potato chips. You eat one and you have to have more. So this is part of my Tillandsia collection. My wife made this clay container here, and with a little crow in it, and we have our Tillandsias in there. We also can have them in just stone on rocks, like these little containers here, and we have one on a seashell. And here's a container. Very important that the container allows air circulation. And we even can have one on a frog statue. This is one of my favorite ones, right there. And they can be mounted on cork. We'll have a video of this coming up in a while. And they can also be in a glass container, like this. Now, it's very important that the glass containers be very wide and open. Sometimes you'll see these for sale in globes, but they must have air circulation. So if they're in a glass globe, they need to be taken out to take care of them and then put back in. So that should give you an idea of the various types of ways we can play with these in a household. So let's start talking about watering. When you water these, it's very important that you use water that does not contain chlorine. If your water source has chlorine in it, you must have some way of getting rid of that. Now, one option for you is to just buy a bottle of spring water and to use that. A second option is to go and get a dechlorinator from an aquatic supply store. And the third way is to use a large open pot, not a tea kettle, but a large container on the stove, and you boil the water for 20 minutes. And then let it cool, and then pour that water into a plastic jug without a top, and let it sit for 24 hours before you use it. So there are a couple ways to water these plants. My preferred method is to use a spray bottle. This should be a bottle that's completely dedicated just for your plants. Never use this spray bottle for chemicals or detergent or anything else. And I always keep this separate from our other containers. And also, aside from spraying, you can soak them for about 20 minutes in water. And again, I just use this plastic container, not a metal. Don't ever use a metal container. But you can use this plastic container, and once again, it's only used for my Tillandsias and nothing else. So when we have a container like this, I've had these Tillandsias, the same Tillandsias, in this container for about 10 years. And obviously, I can't soak it. And I should mention that you could run these under the sink, the brief shower. I'll show you how to do that in a minute. But this would fill up with water, and we don't want any standing water. These should be allowed to dry out. They should dry out within between 2 and 4 hours after watering. So I water in the morning. So you'll see, I want you to see this. You see this color that's white? So we're just getting in here and we're going to give this a really good spray. And you see they're turning green. You see that? So we'll give that a little bit more of a spray. And that's it. We just shake it a little bit to get the drips off there. And we set this out on the counter to dry. Simple. Now if they are in a smaller container, you'll want to take them out and just run them over like this. Just shake it out, and that's it. You're done watering. And when we have a container like this, I'll just take this out of the seashell and we'll do the same thing. So it's very, very easy to water. And if your house is humid, I only need, in my situation, I only need to spray them once a week. But if your house is very dry, you might end up having to spray them 2 or 3 times a week. They should always be white before you start spraying them. And again, they should be allowed to dry out. When I have a big container like this, I'll just spray the whole thing. I don't run that under water because I don't want any standing water in here. The other requirement is sunlight. So a bright, diffuse light with a few hours of morning sun is ideal. No more than that. We don't want them to be in full sun. There are a few exceptions, which we'll get to later, but you don't want them in full sun. And then they can go outside, but especially in the summertime, they should be in shaded, heavily shaded conditions, never in the full sun. So that's it for Tillandsia. Start your own collection. They're a great plant to have around the house, and they have a lot of possibilities. And a good place to get air plants is from a company called airsupply.com. They're very good. They'll ship these to you. When they come in the mail, you'll put them in a tub of water for 20 minutes and soak them, and then let them dry out. And then if you want to mount them or put them in special containers, you'll be off for your own personal collection. And I'm sure it's going to expand. So this is it for this video, and we have another one coming up right after this that's going to show you, I'm going to introduce you to 2 special Tillandsias. They're a little bit more challenging, but they are also very enjoyable.